Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's show, the Beautifully Bruised and CPS show. We made it to Friday by the grace and mercy of God. I'm blessed to see another day and just thankful today. Oh my goodness, I got another good guest for you today. I have someone that I know that is a true treat. Listen, and again, we have Miss Dr. Margarita Johnson. I want to make sure I say that correctly. And I just want to, like I say, I met her at a conference a good little while ago, and just her spirit. It's certain people that you can meet and you might not talk to them as much as on a daily basis, but it's something about their spirit that resonated with your spirit. And you could just tell that they're good people. So again, seriously, I felt that we've stayed in connections from time to time. And I just thought with the show dealing with some of the heaviness that it goes with dealing with life and some of the CPS cases, or just period. If you don't have a CPS case, just with the burdens of the heaviness of life that sometimes can be a test. And we just sometimes, I do believe, I see this Friday is Freedom Friday as well. It's a time to release, reset, and just enjoy your weekend. Give some time to yourself and your kids and your family. And again, you know me, I never start or open up this show without giving credit to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, because without him, I assure you, I would not be sitting in front of you today. So I thank God for who he is in my life and what he continues to be. And he gave me the grace and the strength that keeps me going. So I'm truly grateful for that. So again, I just wanted to say I'm so excited. The guest that we have on this show today, she has a lot of, my God, when I tell you, she's another one. I don't know when she sleeps, because she has a lot of different gifts and talents that she have going on, and passion along with that. So it's just an honor again to have her with me today on the show. And with that being said, this won't be a long segment. I know this is 4th of July weekend, a lot of celebrations, and just again, time you're taking out for your family. And again, that's why I want to bring on Dr. Johnson, because she really, in her ministry, along with her other services she provides, she is great about inspiring families, giving families hope and encouragement. And she even have an organization that she takes it even further to go out into the trenches and to build people to again, I do believe knowledge is power. So she installs a lot of great wealth of my God, just wealth of knowledge. And without any further ado, I want to definitely go on and say thank you for being a guest on our show today.
Yes, thank you. I'm honored to be here. Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
you're so welcome. You're definitely, again, like I said, when I thought about you, when I wanted to bring someone on to inspire our families, our listeners, and I knew you would be the great, example of that. And also, Margarita, can you go ahead and just tell us a little bit about yourself? Where are you from, and what services do you provide?
Hello, everybody. Like I said, I'm thankful to be here. Thank you, Latrika, and to this amazing team and staff of Beautifully Bruised and CPS podcast. Oh my God, I am from here, Dallas, Texas, born and raised in Oak Cliff. So, born and raised in the Oak Cliff area. I grew up with a single mother of three. So I know what sweat equity is. I know what working hard, what you want. I know about not giving up and overcoming obstacles and
Right.
opposition and not taking no for an answer. So I know about all of that. I'm just as long as I can remember, I've just been passionate about serving and giving back as a little girl.
Wow.
That's just been in my DNA. My parents were pastors, so I saw them constantly giving. My mom is in ministry as well, so
Wow.
servantship is just a part of my makeup. It's just who I am, and
I
so
like
God, my first ministry was called Mirror Mirror, and so every
that.
fourth Saturday for 15 years, a group of women and I we would meet and we would confront the mirror. So we would confront our insecurities, our fears, even the fear of success. We would confront our baggage and just those issues of, why we couldn't get along with ourselves and why we can't get along with other people and what's stopping us from going after our dreams and aspirations and our purpose in life. And
Wow.
so I did that for 15 years, and that led to the Godly Girlfriend movement in 2012. And
Godly
we made
Girl
it.
Movement. You better come on through with that title.
The Godly Girlfriend movement. We were the GGs, and it was a saved sister sorority. That's what I called it. I
Wow.
never pledged sorority, and so God gave me my own. And so it was an amazing experience. For about 4 years.
Mhm.
As women, we would get together and we did getaways and staycations and just provided a safe space for women to come and to share and just to be them. I love that you
Yeah.
said this is Freedom Friday because my biggest thing, my first conference that I hosted was called Finally Free to Be Me.
You
And
better.
that was one of the conferences hosted during the Godly Girlfriend movement. So finally free to be me. I was no longer paralyzed by people's opinions of me. I was
Come
no
on.
longer paralyzed fear. I had no fear, just faith. I had to just step out of there and be me and become comfortable in my own skin and who
Right.
God made me to be and not compare myself to other people, what they were doing, how they were living. I just had to learn how to stay in my lane
That's
and do
right.
what God called me to do and accept the reflection looking back at me in the mirror. That took a journey for me to accept.
I love that. I do.
Yeah.
I love that because sometimes, I mean, people hear that and because it's so. I say before, it's so easy to get caught up in the schemes of life. You're constantly going. You're constantly working. You're constantly like even just like you say, you're doing so many different things, and sometimes you truly have to sit and take a moment and reset for yourself. You could easily get upset,
Yeah.
angry, mad. I had when I listen, since you brought that up, I have to share this too. I have been under such great spiritual attack. And I mean it's higher than what it normally be. And I just said, but like you said,
Hmm.
when you begin to grow in God and
Yeah.
and try to keep integrity, even when it's easier to say no and stop. It's something within you, like you say, you have to stretch within
Hmm.
and just motivate your own self sometimes just to keep going. And with me, I need that
Yeah.
encouragement on a regular basis. So I think that is
Yeah.
awesome that you have started these organizations for women like myself. I don't know nobody who don't
Yes.
sometimes need a little fuel, you know, just a little fuel to keep
Hmm.
going or to be inspired. Like I say, even this
Yeah.
platform with the turn events, I thank God for them and the producer Grace because they allow you to have this outlet to come on here when you're dealing with the world and you just want to just come and say, okay, wait a minute. Let me regroup for my
Mhm.
own sanity. Because if you're not good for yourself, how can you be good for somebody else? So,
Yes,
um,
absolutely.
right. So it's necessary. Everything that you're mentioning, I do think that it's a great way to plug in. And I will ask you even more information towards the end of our segment so people can get in contact with you. Because I've had many people that are reached out and said, hey, who was that guest and how can she be reached? And they'll just, contact you from that point on. But I also, I'm glad you said that because it's going to lead me into my next question that I have. Can I,
Mhm.
on a personal level, can you say honestly, if you think back, because this platform is really, I love it because it helped you in a variety of different ways. Okay. We have a lot
Yes.
of families that have, been a victim to CPS, and some are currently going through CPS cases. I, one, have been a victim to CPS, and I personally know what that horror feels like, that pain when you don't have your child for whatever reason, whether if the what you call it, if the assumptions or accusations were true or not, you still have to live with the fact that your bond with your child has been broken,
Mhm.
and it brings a pain like
Exactly.
no,
Yeah.
my God. So
Yeah.
again,
Yeah.
oh geez. So I want to ask you, Margarita, can you elaborate more on that question? What has been your I know you speak of God. I truly am a believer in God as well. But can you elaborate? If you just think back to one of the most darkest days in your life, what inspiration did you have and that you can share with the listening audience that truly helped to pull and get you through?
Ooh, oh my God. It's been so many. When I tell you the enemy has been fighting me since I got here. Like he did not want me to be
Jesus.
here.
Wow.
So like I was born premature, so I was born 2.5 months early. So I was so
Wow.
little, my mom said I slept in a dresser drawer. I was so little. And then 18 months after that, I had bronchitis pneumonia and I almost died. My mom could hear me
Mhm.
breathing from the kitchen to the back room. That's how heavy my breathing was. And the doctor told her, if you would have waited 10 more minutes to get this baby in the hospital, she would have died.
Oh my God.
So dealing with that and then to
From the
dealing with
very beginning. You're right. Literally.
from the very beginning. So I know why the enemy attacked me as he have because I know my purpose now.
Come on.
But I mean, just dealing with fatherlessness, abandonment, rejection.
Right.
But I think one of the biggest battles that I went through past childhood,
Wow.
going into adulthood,
Hmm.
was when God began to take His spiritual scissors out and cut people out of my life.
That is, oh, you better talk about it.
Yeah, he began to cut people that had been in my life for years, and he got the scissors out because I couldn't get rid of them. So he had to do it himself, and but that led to a deep, dark depression. Because
Mhm.
for me, those people, like I said, some were family, some were close friends.
Right.
But God had to show me that we were going in two different directions. But because I was
Jesus.
no longer in those relationships, I had to grieve those relationships and the loss of those relationships. And so in 2012, I went through a deep, dark depression. Like it was a struggle
Right.
because people consider me the strong friend, right?
Right.
So
Right.
nobody ever checks in on the strong friend. Nobody ever thinks like who intercedes for the intercessor, who encourages the encourager, who uplifts the uplifter.
Talk about
And
it.
so thankfully I have my husband,
Thank
but
God.
it was deep and it was dark. And for me to have to pull myself up out of that tunnel. I didn't think it was ever going to come to an end. But I still had to lead. I still had to smile. I still had to take care of my kids and take care of my husband. But it was the depression almost took me out of here. Like I was
Wow.
gonna give up and say, you know what, forget this.
Wow.
But I'm
That's
thankful
so good.
that God showed me light at the end of the tunnel. I'm thankful because that each person and is seasons where the spirit of depression, tries to come
Right.
and tries to come to suppress and I know it's a distraction to get me off my
That's
course
so
and
good.
my purpose. But that was one of the hardest things. I mean, I've been through homelessness. I've been through all of it. People look at
Wow.
me and think that I have it all together, but I don't. It's by the
I
grace
was
of
just
God.
gonna say,
Say,
I
um,
listen.
it's the grace
Marguerite, you
of
took the
God.
words out of my mouth. People looking at you probably wouldn't even thought the things that you
Yeah,
shared, your true
yeah,
transparency. Yeah, because that's why I understand more and more the older I get. Don't never judge a book by its cover.
hmm
Rather,
yes,
you think it's something
hmm
good, and you might realize, like my grandma got an old saying, Margarita, she'll be 106. I say this often because that's my best friend. Anybody know me? You know, I
Oh,
love my
oh, that's beautiful.
yes,
Oh,
God, it
that's
is.
beautiful.
And I don't take it for granted. I don't have my earthly mom, but I have my grandmother. But she always told me, she said, sometimes you don't know what you got until you got it.
Yeah,
And
that's real.
it's true. And that can go as far as relationships, that can go your job, anything until you really get into the what you call it, the fire of that thing, the true to see
Yeah,
what that really is. It can be totally different from the appearance on the outside. But Margarita, you're a confirmation for me today because that is something that I can attest that I'm going through right now. Those relationships, sometimes you don't want to
yeah,
let you think,
yeah.
but you got to realize, like you say, if that's not in God's will, that's not of God purpose. Oh,
Mhm.
Jesus. I'm the
Yeah,
same way. He almost got to break it. Says, I won't do it on my own. He would do something to, you know what I'm saying, to cause it to not be able to go forth. Or so I love that you mentioned that. That was such confirmation. So can you speak to that even more? I'm sorry, I didn't want to
yeah.
interrupt you, but I can really that's something I'm dealing with right now. Is sometimes you gotta walk alone. And it does cause depression. It does make you feel a certain kind of way because you always want to be with the crowd.
No, I just okay. Yeah, so I know for me around that same time, because I had given so much, because I'm a giver, so I'm constantly giving. My husband and I, we pastored a church for 10 years. And I
Oh,
love
wow.
God's people, but ministry in times can be very abusive. People only see
Oh,
the congregation, but they don't see the sacrifices and everything that the leadership goes through to make sure that they have a church to come to. And so I just remember just in that same season, just almost having a nervous breakdown. I was in the shower. I was having a nervous breakdown. I was just thinking about all the people, that we had impacted and prayed for and, paid for their bills and did all of this. And I just felt so used up. I felt so depleted. I felt so just overwhelmed by just usury, basically. And in that moment,
absolutely.
God literally saved my life. He saved my life in that moment in the shower. He saved my life. He said, they didn't use you, I used you.
Hmm.
I what? He said, asked, I used you in that season.
Wow. That's good, Margarita. We have a slight glitch that's going on. A slight glitch.
It was to pray for their marriage, whether their assignment was to
Wow.
help them walk through salvation, deliverance, whatever you did it in your own strength. Then nothing
Hmm.
is wasted. Not one dime, not one tear, not one prayer. So that literally saved my life. The fact that he wanted to use me, it just shifted my whole mindset from they used me to he used me. And it just shifted everything to me. It shifted
Oh, that's
everything
so
for
good.
me.
That is so good. That is so good. That can
Yeah.
almost be a slogan on social media. I mean, how you say, "Oh," because you look
I
at
hear you.
people.
I
Listen,
know,
that
right?
is good. Oh my. That's something I have to just
Yeah.
process for a minute because go. I'm not. I don't want to interrupt you. Just keep flowing, but you change the perspective when you get it from that way, and it does make you feel better, and it does make you keep running because if you're being
Yeah.
used for God, God is not never going to take you through something that He's not going to bring you out of. And I'm a testimony of that.
Yeah.
So,
And so,
whew,
yes. Yeah, so that helped me. It just shifted my whole mentality. And,
wow.
even now, I'm still a giver and I still, through my organization and everything, I love giving. But now I just have a different persona. You're not looking for anything back in return. Not that I was before, but you do sometimes expect a thank you or something from people.
Yeah, of
But,
course.
we're just living in a generation to where people don't express gratitude anymore. They
Not
just
like
take and take and take. And you know what? I just leave it between, I just do what he tells me to do, and I just leave it there. Because if
that's
you
right.
get caught up in reciprocating, some
Right.
people, they don't believe two-way road relationships. It's only one way,
Right.
but as long as God is now, I do discernment, and I strongly use my discernment now in who God wants me to be a blessing to. Because you
Right.
can't, people will use you up all day long. So you just have to use discernment and who you can give
You
your
do.
time, your talent, your treasures, and your resources to.
That's
One thing, two things that God showed me in that same season. Like I tell you, that was a season, but He had
oh
to
yeah.
give me words in order to rescue me out of the pit. And so what He told me is, Margarita, you are called to share, not save. So I can
Mm.
share all day long. Like I can share resources, I can share help, I can share advice, I can share wisdom, but I can't save you. I can't save you. There's only one savior. I can't save you. So you
That's
can
good.
you can take it or leave it. You know what I'm saying? And then he said
Right.
you can care, but you can't carry. So I can care for
Mm.
you, cannot, and I will not no longer pick up your cross and carry for you. So I'm gonna care for you, but I'm not gonna carry your cross for you. So that's a
Ooh,
big difference, especially people who love to give and we want to save everybody and help everybody. There's a
right.
fine line. So you gotta know to care, but not carry.
I'm
You got to know to
I'm
share, but not save.
I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna use that on something
You have to, yes.
because that's
So
good.
those words that he gave me, it helps to set boundaries for me with
Right.
people.
Right.
So
Right.
and it literally just saved my life, and I can still give, but now I have boundaries with how that I give.
I love that because, like you said, and I had to learn that the hard way also. And I'm glad that you mentioned even depression or sadness, anxiety, because people do go through certain things. They don't always share it. And you are a great example of somebody that can be, a founder, a director, an organization, a pastor, working in ministry. But even, we being real and human, you're not happy every day. I mean, if you just be honest, every day is not always sunshine.
No,
So that's why I really,
it's
really try
not.
to. It's not. I mean, people could pretend
Yeah.
like it is, but they got to be lying because again, every
Mhm.
day is not the same. And some day, I'm just listen. Some days you do just want to be to yourself. Some days it might. Um, it's harder than others, and you have to, like you said. I think that's the beauty of God, because even in trying not to process what you shared, and also how I can relate to it when I've been previously in abusive relationships, and it made me feel sad and depressed, and make you feel like you low and down. But God had to use that sometimes to let you go through that, to let you know that what pain feels like. Even being a victim to CPS, I see it as it's a pain you have when you can't go in there or call and be there with your child. So
Yeah.
the beauty of it is that I always say, don't put a period where there should be a comma. Look at this as a test that God is taking you through. God can, if he can see, he can trust you. Like you just shared those key words. He can take you through some of these storms, but it's just going to make you better. It's going to give you a new set of eyes. The next time you go around, you're going to do things differently, hopefully. Rather dealing with CPS case, you know what to look out for next time pertaining to your children. So that should make you be a better parent. Like you said, God will take us through things, but normally you learn from it. Like you said, I've learned to set boundaries for my life. I used to kind of be all, help people as much as I can till I'm wore out and tired. And like you said, they don't even say thank you. So you didn't burnt yourself out.
Yeah.
You stressed yourself out far and wide and don't even get any type of acknowledgement. So God is
Yeah.
awesome about revealing things that makes you want to have those boundaries, set filters for your life. So I'm so glad you mentioned that, because a lot of times if people were to just implement those boundaries in their life, it would be a huge difference with their peace.
Right.
They won't even be
Yes. It
distracted.
definitely
You
in my life. Yeah.
what you say,
It
Read?
definitely
I'm
made a
sorry.
huge difference. Like you said, no, like you said you'll have less distractions,
Mm,
and you'll be better able to focus on what you need to focus on versus trying to save the world. Yes, we have a good heart. We want to save the world. We want to save everybody, but we can't. We're only human. And that's
that's
one thing I had to tell myself, girl, you only one person. You're only one person. And so just stay in the lane that God has you in and do what he tells you to do and help the people that he's, asking for you to help in that season. One season it
exactly
may be
right. That is
men,
so
the next season it may be women I'm pouring into, and the next season it may be myself I'm pouring into. He may say, stop everything for a season and pour back into yourself. So
hold
seasons
yourself.
change, and I did write this down when I saw the title. When I saw the
Okay.
title of the show, God
Okay.
actually gave me an acronym for the show.
Really? Really?
And so the scripture that he gave, Philippians 4:13, is that
Okay.
it says, I can do all things through Christ that
Come on.
strengthens me. So just know, whatever you're going through today, you can do all things. Like don't stop at opposition, don't stop at the word no. Don't let fear stop you. Don't let your family and your friends stop you and talk you out of what you know God is telling you to do. That's one of
Right.
the scriptures that I always rely on, Philippians 4:13. I can do all
Yes,
things through
ma'am.
Christ that strengthens me. And he gave
Yes,
me an acronym. And so
that's
the
good.
word can, number one is conquer. So
Mm,
conquer means that you can successfully overcome and take control over it. Whatever that
mm.
it is, you can successfully overcome and take control over it. So whether it's an addiction, whether it's a CPS case, whether it's grief and death that you're dealing with, whether it's sickness, you can successfully overcome and take control over it. So that's
My
the
God.
C in can. The A is accept. You can acknowledge or consider something as true. And so that leads me to the prayer of serenity, with the word accept, because sometimes when we're in denial about our situation, it just keeps you there even longer. So when
Yes,
you
it
can
will.
accept the situation and say, okay, this is where I am today. But like Latrika said, don't put a period there. It's just a comma. Like this
That's
too shall pass. This
this
will
too.
not be your this will not be the end of your story.
You better
Okay,
say
so
it.
just accept where you are right now. Like there's a song by Mr. Clean way back in the day, and it
Come
says,
on, for them
"Accept
be the
what God
best
allows,
one.
because you're better off anyway." So
Say that
God
again,
knows best.
Marguerite.
So it's a song way back in the. I think Twinkie Clark and
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Clean,
Clark sisters.
they
Okay.
sang it. Accept what God allows because we're better
Expect.
off anyway. We're better off anyway, accepting His plan, His master plan. Like we think we down here
Yes.
really running something because we got dates on the calendar and our to-do list and all that, but He has the
Right.
master plan. So
That's
we
good,
have to
Marguerite.
accept His plan and His will for our life. And then as long as what we're doing aligns with His will, then it will happen.
It
But
will.
there will be seasons where we just have to accept. I can't everybody else is doing. I can't go, where everybody else is going. I have to accept where I am in this
That's
moment. And the serenity prayer is the perfect example of acceptance. It says, God grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the
right.
wisdom to know the difference.
I know
So
the
I
difference.
love that prayer.
Me
It's so
too. Me
simple, but
too.
yet so
Me too.
serenity prayer. And
Woo!
then the
That's
can in the word can is navigate. Navigate means to plan and direct. It means to find one's way. So you can navigate resources, you can navigate your options, resources. Because at the end of the day, you can and you will. As long as you don't give up, you will win. Long as as long as you don't quit, you will win. So so
you
just
will
remember that.
win.
Courage, acceptance, and navigate.
Listen, I'm gonna have to play this back and listen to it myself. As I run my errands out in this Texas heat today, I'm going to play this back and listen to it myself. I'm going to encourage myself with what you have shared
Yes,
because you have
yes,
dropped so
ma'am.
many gems and nuggets that, oh my God, jewels that can just help us press that reset button within ourselves
Yes,
to keep us re-engaged, refocused. We do, it's to me, I just see it as you're speaking life
yes.
and to so many people. So I thank God for you. I thank God
And that was
for
the
your
name of our church.
ministry.
That was the name of our church too.
What's the name of it?
Did you hear me? I said that was the name of our church, Life. Life. It was called the Life Center.
I'm done.
And it
I'm so
meant
done.
living in freedom every day. That's what it meant. Living in freedom. So that's what we did. We spoke life
Woo!
into your life every day.
Speak
Living
life
in
and not
freedom every day. Yeah.
listen. I don't know what else to go from this point because you have actually finished something. Well, I know I was going to say today with this segment. I see it as Freedom Friday, but I was going to ask you, how would you complete you can, but you just said it. It's like you're flowing. You answered a question before I can ask. So hey, you make my job easy. I'm just being 100. So, oh my God, you can live. You just spoke life into us.
Thank
You have. Oh my God. Oh
you.
my God. I want to ask you, Margarita, because again, you pretty much have shared a lot of motivation and encouragement and given hope to so many people that are in all different seasons and journeys of life. Like I say, we have families that's being affected by CPS cases. Some of them are wrongfully done. Some of them, they may, just different parts of life, even family that's on here that want to support these families dealing with CPS cases and don't know what to do. They can also be stressed out to see somebody you love and care about going through so many great challenges, and sometimes you don't know what to do, but you definitely have given some great nuggets to be able to know what to say, just to be that positive and upliftment for them in such a trying time in their life. So with that being said, you have given us scriptures that our listening audience can refer to. A great thing too about this platform, you can plug in, you can tune in at any given time. It's 24/7. You have access to it. So anytime you're having those moments of feeling down or sad or don't know what direction to go in, and even just honestly feeling discouraged, Margarita, this show today will be definitely a great show. One of many other shows that I know you can come in and get some solid word and encouragement and upliftment to give you that fuel that you need to get back in the game and to keep running. Because
Yes.
again, you might give out, but don't never give up because your children and your family, they are depending on you. They love you and they need you. And again, Margarita, thank you for sharing so much wisdom because if you can't be good for yourself, then how can you be good for anybody else? So the things that she have shared,
Yes.
hopefully that will give you, that fuel that for Freedom Friday to keep going. Before we get ready to end the show today, this will be a smaller segment. But Margarita, is there anything else that you would like to share? And I am going to also, ask you for your contact information in case our listening audience want to get in contact with you with more information that you have.
Oh my God, it's really so much. But
This is
I
your
know it's in Proverbs. I know it's in Proverbs, but it says, "Trust in the Lord with all of thine heart, lean not
mm,
to thine own understanding. In all
wow.
of thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your path." So life is challenging for a lot of people. I'm even going, like you said, the spiritual warfare has been like times
Ooh,
1,000. So just know that you're not alone, but with the anointing comes the pressing, the crushing, all of that. But in those seasons where we are going through that, just like Jesus, he went through it too. And he had to adapt, but nevertheless, he said, Lord, nevertheless, I don't want to do this because, this is a lot to take the sins of the whole world upon me and carry it and have to die for it. I don't want to do it. But nevertheless, not my will, but let your will be done. So some of us are going through those not my will, Lord, but you let your will be done. We're going through our nevertheless wilderness experience. But just know
that's
that you're
good.
not going through for nothing, that there are so many people that are depending upon you to come out of this on the other side.
Right.
Because their deliverance, their obedience to God, their next level is contingent upon our obedience as well. And
God.
so, just continue to trust in him and just know that God's strength is made perfect in our weakness. So in those times we want to give
Yes.
up, we want to say, why am I going through this? What next? Like, know that God's strength is made perfect in our weakness. So in those moments where we don't want to move, we're too weak, just rely upon the strength of the Lord to get you through the CPS, through the family drama and trauma and division and discord and all that. Rely upon him because trust me, you're not alone. It may seem like it in seasons, but God is with you. There's a scripture that says Psalms 46 and 5 and says, God is within her, she shall not fail. He will help her at the break of day. So every morning that you get up, just know that you have renewed strength, you have a renewed source, and God is with you to provide, a way out, to provide protection, peace, supernatural peace, understanding,
Yes.
unconditional love, and he will meet you right where you are. So you can and you will. You can, you will conquer, you will excel, and you will navigate this
My
storm
God.
and this trial.
Oh
Amen.
my God. Amen. Listen, I'll tell you one thing. I feel better now than I did when I sat down in this chair.
Amen. Me
I
too.
do. And I do. I feel a clearance. I truly do. I feel like, and I pray that also the listening audience feel that same way because I just know how words can really change, the atmosphere, like you're speaking life, and that just lifts
Yes.
the burdens that you might be carrying. So, oh God, so
Yes.
it is so necessary and it is so needed. And wow, I'm serious. I'm laughing because and that's something too, Margarita. I'm realizing too that the season that I'm in, God is teaching me, even though you feel like you have what is it, a knife in your heart, but you still smile anyway. So maybe this is my crushing.
Yes.
Maybe this is my crushing because back in the day, I'd be like, now wait a minute, unplug this phone, unplug this headphone set, let me make sure I understand. But no, he is teaching me no matter what's coming your way, distractions
Yeah.
and all. And that's what the devil try to do. He's seeing you these things to get you off course, to make you
Yeah.
become angry, feel defeated and sad. But if you can still take on those words that Margarita just dropped in all our spirits, that gives you life. that speaks to your heart and your soul to encourage you to not get caught up in what's coming your way, to keep God first. So to stay focused on God, and He is a burden barrier. I am a living
Yes.
witness of that. So my God, Margarita, I would love to bring. Listen. I feel like I just left church service. I'm telling you,
Look, God, I say God knows what we need, when we need it, how we need it, when we need it, and why we need it. And so,
listen. Yes, he does. And it's so needed. So I would love to actually bring you back on again because I do love from time to time to bring people that is in your genre and the work that you do out here in the vineyards and the trenches of encouraging our communities and our families. So, I would love to bring you back. And with that being said, what other type of services or resources and gifts that you have to offer that we haven't already mentioned so our audience will be aware of that as well?
Yeah, the Golly Girlfriend movement eventually turned into a stand for sisterhood, and we made it an official 501c3 nonprofit organization.
Oh,
And we
good.
are committed to standing in solidarity for the personal and professional development of unserved, under-resourced, and underrepresented girls and women through
I love that.
intergenerational mentorship, advocacy, awareness, and the power of prevention.
Wow.
I go into the schools all year long. I mentor our girls, 9th through 12th through the Level Up initiative. So I encourage them to never settle, but to always level up in their attitude and their execution in everything that they do.
Wow.
I've been with the school now for 6 years, DISD. I also serve on the NAF advisory board, so I help in that aspect. And
You
yeah,
busy. I love
it's
it.
a lot with the schools that I do, from mock interviews to resume writing to taking the students on enrichment experiences. And then also outside of the school, I mentor girls and women through my intergenerational mentorship called Four Core. So it consists of all four generations of girls and women. So baby boomers, Gen X, Gen Zs, and millennials, we come together every month, twice a month, to share our wills, our wisdom, our experiences, our love, and our legacy. It takes a village. We need each other to survive. It's not a clique. It's not nothing. We come together to show our young girls, our babies, sisterhood and how to live with personal and professional development. I host a summer camp every year called Diamonds in the Rough. This year,
Oh,
July, will be our sixth Diamonds in the Rough. It has been officially proclaimed Diamonds in the Rough Summer Camp Week in the city of Farmers Branch. And so I have about 16 to 20 girls every year. My biggest group before COVID was 25 girls. And
mhm.
they stay with me for 7 days, 6 nights. And we do all things from mental health to tech, to Wellness Wednesday, to going out on different enrichment experiences, to financial literacy, entrepreneurship. When I say they do it all, they do it all. I just
Oh,
finished
I
a
believe
STEM
you.
camp with my mom. Yeah. And it's for girls
Wow.
10 through 18. We have a couple of more openings left if anybody is interested in their daughter being a part of this life-changing experience. They all they all take the pledge of purity.
Wow.
So they do that. I share my testimony of abstinence with him. I just celebrated 25 years of marriage. My husband, I was a virgin when I got married. He's the only man that I've ever known intimately.
Wow.
And we have
My
beautiful
God.
children. My son is 21. My daughter is 18. She just graduated.
I remember your
So
family. Yeah, it speaks for itself. I just be quiet.
yes, God is good. But yeah, so stand for sisterhood. Stand for you. As a girl, as a woman, wherever you are in life, it doesn't matter. You have somebody in your corner. We have our pom poms. We are cheerleading you towards your destiny and your God given purpose. So you're not alone.
That is amazing, Margarita. You God, like I say, you are really out here making a difference in the community. You are
Thank
fulfilling purpose. You are bringing women into you are a great example of a woman of virtue. So these young girls have someone to look up to, because people tell you something all day. My mom used to always tell me, a person to prep their mouth to say anything, but look at their actions.
you.
And your
Yep.
actions literally carry out what you represent. So, and that is rare to find in this day and time. So I just want to commend you on an excellent job that you're doing. I remember at the conference, I met you and I want to say your husband and maybe your children, and it just, her family, you could tell that it's a loving family. You could tell that they have like I said, I remember her spirit. She always just, like I say, it's something you just stood out with me, and I just knew some kind of way. I didn't know how and when, but we will reconnect. But God, this is the day. This
Yes.
is the day, and it has been a true gem of the knowledge that you have inspired everybody with, just to stay encouraged, to keep going. You can make it out. And even with your organizations, we have the producer Grace is great about providing necessary the information so people can be reached. Your website address, your contact numbers, your email address is listed right now on the show. So please take advantage of these communication tools to reach Margarita. And she is actually, what she's saying, she practices what she preaches. You won't be disappointed. She is the truth. So again, I thank God for this day. I thank God for you being a guest on our show. One day I will love to bring you back, to bring us some
I will
more.
be honored. I will be honored to come back. Yes.
Well, there you go. That was still the deal. So again, Margarita, thank you for being on the show today, and we will be back in touch with you.
And just know that the email is stand for sisterhood.global. It's a dot in there. .global at Gmail.
Can you say it out one more time to make sure we get it correctly?
Yes, ma'am. The email is stand, the number 4, sisterhood.global at gmail.com.
Okay,
Yes,
great.
ma'am.
Great. Well, we have it. And again, we do have all your information. If they have any questions or if they can't reach you, they can also reach the show. And, I can reach out to you to let you know, but definitely they should be able to reach you. So again, thank you, Margarita, for coming on, and we will be in touch, and keep up doing the great work that you're doing out here. It's needed.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, Grace. Thank you, Latrika.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. Okay, everyone, that has definitely brought us to the end of this segment. I hope that it has definitely brought some type of light and help of encouragement to you, no matter where you are right now in your season of life, to let you know that don't give up, to keep going. Again, things may come, the arrows may form, but guess what? They won't form. So I just want to say to stay encouraged. Keep God first, and watch and see how God will turn that thing around for you in your favor. I am your host, Latrika Jones. I want you to have a blessed, safe weekend. Happy 4th of July weekend, and see you next time.